Tonight on Prime Business, Ghana's debt could be subject to interest rate review as restructuring plan comes up as major precondition before official IMF program negotiation commences by end of month. We'll hear from research lead at GCB Capital, Courage Buti.
It might mean looking at the interest cost and renegotiating them. There is a whole framework for that. But the whole essence is to make sure that your debts become sustainable now and you're able to service the obligations as they come.
Also, a boost to Ghana's transport system. The country is set to receive an electric light rail transportation, also known as tram system, by developed private partner Knights Technologies in collaboration with the Ministry of Railway Development.
So we're having about 4 lines. And so that will shorten the congestions and things in Kumasi. And then we also divided it into 3 phases, the inner one, then the outer one.
So for the details now, presents proposals on how Ghana intends to restructure its debt stock. That's one of the preconditions before negotiations for a program with the International Monetary Fund commences by end of this month. George Riafe has the details.
Sources close to the negotiations have maintained that the country's rising debt stock will be the main focus of any program that will be put together and backed by the IMF. This is because Ghana's total debt stock of 393 billion Ghana cedis ended June this year has reached levels that can be described as unsustainable. It is for this reason that is why the IMF is proposing that Ghana's enhanced domestic program that is put together should come up with some proposals on how to deal with the situation. Joy Business understands that if government should be pressed with this debt restructuring thing, then it might be forced to take some drastic measures that could affect its ability to borrow on the international market going forward. The World Bank and the IMF are also putting finishing touches on Ghana's debt sustainability analysis. This report is expected to influence the kind of program that Ghana could get. Meanwhile, the gentleman that will be leading the IMF team to negotiate a program with Ghana, Fifani Rodi, is in town. The visit Joy Business understands will afford him an opportunity to familiarize himself with the terrain ahead of the mission visit later this month. He has already met Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta and First Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afare. He will also be engaging other government officials and civil society groups, as well as some personalities. As Roddy, who has been in town for 2 days, should be flying out to Washington, D.C., USA, tomorrow.
Now, reacting to this development, research lead at GCB Capital, Courage Buti, says the request from the Bretton Woods institution could ensure efforts at bringing the country's debt to sustainable levels. He spoke on the marketplace.
New structure, which is debt restructuring beyond the SSI, was introduced, which is supposed to provide a standardized and a unified platform for lenders to be able to negotiate with the borrowers on their request, actually, on terms of debt restructuring. Now, we've seen as an example for Zambia, when they requested for an IMF program in 2020, I think November 2020, that due to the size of their debt, and I must say Zambia defaulted on their Eurobonds anyway. They are one of the first post-Eurobond defaulters, really, and post-COVID defaulters, really. And when they applied for a program with IMF, I think somewhere in November 2020, for an extended credit facility, the IMF requested as a precondition that given their current debt levels, the debt service obligations, and all of the risks they face, which deny them access to the international capital market, they have to restructure their debt. That process took 2 years until recently when they made progress with the official bilateral lenders, leading to an approval of the program from the IMF last Thursday, really. So in short, restructuring will mean renegotiating terms of your debt. It might mean extending the term of payment or the years of payment. It might mean looking at the interest cost and renegotiating them. There is a whole framework for that. But the whole essence is to make sure that your debts become sustainable now and you're able to service the obligations as they come.
That was research lead at GCB Capital, Courage Buti. Now, away from that, Kumasi is set to become the first city in Ghana to have an electric light rail transportation as part of the government's efforts to ease traffic congestion in capital cities. Known as the tram system, the project is one of the sophisticated systems of transport found mostly in Europe, and it operates on a rail that travels on tramway tracks on a public urban street. Chief Executive and Board Chairman of NITES, Dr. Carl Lai, made this known at the launch of his outfit's 25th anniversary in Accra. Here's a report.
The tram technology is currently being developed by NITES AS of the Czech Republic in collaboration and cooperation with the Ministry of Railway Development. According to Dr. Lai, the system would operate 3 main lines aimed at decongesting the city of Kumasi and pave way for easy flow of traffic.
I invited a 16-member delegation from the Ministry of Railway Development led by Honorable Apiakubi, the Chief Director, and the technical men to the Czech Republic for them to see the way we run our tram system, and they were so impressed with what they saw. So that led to the signing of an MOU between us, NITES AS, and the Ministry of Railway Development. Actually, they were planning to have Accra, and they've given Accra to about a Chinese company and Australian company or South African company. And so we were giving Kumasi to do the feasibility study. So we worked closely with KNUST to be able to develop the concept note and the feasibility study, which we've done, and that's what we show. We're having about 4 lines, and so that will shorten the congestions and things in Kumasi. And then we also divided it into 3 phases: the inner one, then the outer one.
Dr. Lai also shed more light on some technologies his outfit has churned out to enhance the economy 25 years on.
We signed a contract agreement with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to supply 50 number of modular steel bridges. Basically, as we said, we are giving 100 years guarantee for the bridges that we are manufacturing. And as you said, the ministry is so grateful for the good job we are doing. And we are going for the second phase of the project, which will be 100 bridges maybe from next year. Prior to that, 2018, as you saw on the screen, I invited the Minister for Food and Agriculture to the Czech Republic. Our company was able to arrange about 20 million euro interest-free for the support of the Planting for Food and Jobs program. And so far, they've been able to utilize about 10 million euro, and it's left with 10 million to use. We also designed the poultry project for them, and the poultry project is we want to have it in Greater Accra, Ashanti region, and the Bronga-Alfo region. And in fact, if we're able to execute this project, we'll be able to stop importation of poultry products into the country by 40%.
Let's still stay on transportation, as the Online Drivers Union of Ghana, a group of ride-hailing drivers, has expressed dissatisfaction with the existing problems that affect its members across the country. According to Francis Tenge, president of the union, online drivers continue to struggle with concerns related to security, insurance, and high fees on sales. Speaking to Joy Business, he added the current economic challenges have made matters worse. He's asking employers to consider monthly remuneration.
And when it comes to security, last year we have had 3 of our members being killed. One is a teacher who was brutally murdered at Afiasi in Ashanti region, the head teacher. Also, there's one Navy officer who was also killed, set on blaze by this SS student. So the security-wise is still the same. So we have the opinion that one, all riders before accounts have been activated, the apps company should ensure that they use Ghana card. The accounts have been identified. They verify before they put it, but that is not the case. So these are the government regulations have to come in to solve that problem for us.
Talking about government coming in to solve the issues for you guys, we've seen the cedi depreciating. We've seen a lot of basically economic challenges facing the country as a whole. How is that affecting your operations?
Yes, first of all, most of the drivers don't own the cars. Accountants buy the cars and then they lease to us on weekly basis, ask for weekly sales or work and pay. Let me touch on the work and pay. The problem we have is that people buy the cars and register it plus insurance, everything, and then they do double the price and give it to the drivers and spread it for a number of 3 or 4 years for the driver to work and pay. That is also too much. It's too much from on our side. So should the government come in and then subsidize that or regulate that sector for us? It's not good for a young guy to go for a car which should be twice there. Some drivers are doing as much as 90,000 Ghana cedis in 3 years. Others are also doing over 100,000 Ghana cedis, and it's too much also for us.
Now, businesses are being urged to invest in human capital to ensure that their data is cyber safe. According to cyber expert Eduardo Borochin, it is about time companies increase budget allocation for capacity building of personnel in cybersecurity as the space is gradually moving away from the availability of technology to the competence of the personnel handling the technology. He spoke at the Israel-Ghana Cybersecurity Executive Workshop.
As at 2020, there were 3.12 million unfilled cybersecurity job positions globally. Eduardo Borochin, Sales and Global Development Manager at P Consulting, an Israeli cybersecurity firm, indicated that to fill this gap, businesses need to invest in training their employees.
We are in September. This is time of budget allocation. Increase your budget for capacity building. Increase your budget in human capital. That's the first point. Second point, invest in a cyber readiness strategy. Not only about cyber defense, but also about how to deal with cyber attacks. And the third point is that cybersecurity is risk mitigation. Let's look at compliance, let's look at governance and regulation, let's look at compliance regulations like ISO and SOC 2, let's look at our suppliers, let's look at our employees. Let's build together an ecosystem that we have qualified people, that we have a proper cyber readiness program.
Israeli Embassy, in collaboration with P Consulting and Coronet, an IT company, organized the Israel-Ghana Cybersecurity Executive Workshop. Chief Executive of Coronet, Prince Abwaji Ajiman, explained that the workshop targeted executives of organizations because the root of any cyber attack has connection with managerial dysfunction.
We targeted the executives because cybersecurity today actually goes beyond technology. If there's a cyber attack, I mean, on the surface of it, you probably think it's technology failure, but embedded in that attack is a lot of managerial problems that needs to be dealt with, and some of these things, I mean, once this attack, you need to involve HR, procurement, compliance, audit. IT becomes one of the least people to deal with that, and all these people are the executives. Usually they're left out when it comes to cybersecurity training.
Chief Executive of P Consulting, A.T. Berger, was the resource personnel at the workshop. She highlighted some key points businesses should consider in the case of a cyber attack or to prevent an attack from happening.
Invest in capital, in the human capital, because as long as you have professional and skilled people, you will have a better treatment in this incident. You need to be aware what to be afraid of. You need to act as a paranoid, always looking back and see whether you're under attack. And 3, pay attention on technology, but not only on technology, but also on methodology and GRC.
Moving on, the light cocoa crop season is set to end tomorrow, September 8th. The announcement by Cocoa Board kickstarts the preparation for the main crop season. The following report has more on that and the first tranche of the cocoa syndicated loan, which is expected to hit the Bank of Ghana's account in October this year.
The main crop season, which starts from October to May, is a period within which the regulator buys most of the cocoa beans from farmers for export. The light crop season, which concludes the crop season, is used to mainly supply cocoa beans to local processors. The statement from Cocoa Board said in order to assist the licensed buying companies to obtain the final returns from the hinterlands, Cocoa Board has decided that returns on the declared purchases will be accepted up to 4 p.m. on Thursday, 15 September 2022. Meanwhile, the first tranche of a $1.3 billion cocoa syndicated loan is expected to hit the Bank of Ghana's account by October 2022. The second tranche of the $390 million, which would be spread over 3 months, should be coming in from November 2022 to February 2023.
Government has been urged to establish a development fund to support the Aquaculture for Food and Jobs program. This comes after revelation that the Ministry of Finance is set to support the program with some funds. According to the sector minister, Mavis Kumsin, some feasibility studies are ongoing to determine the viability of the program and the amount needed. But speaking on the marketplace, Chief Executive of the Chamber of Aquaculture, Jacob Azika, said there's the need for a self-sustaining fund to ensure the program yields desired results.
Given the nature of fish farming and the rest, we will recommend that the ministry should consider the cooperative model, business model, where a group of young people can come together to form a cooperative. Then they can embark on, this fish farming initiative that the ministry is providing. Indeed, with a cooperative model, you can see that those who are not even interested in the production aspect, which is the fish production, can also get involved in maybe the marketing and processing aspect, even accounts guys. Because once it's a cooperative, some of them will focus on the production, some of them will focus on the processing and marketing, and some could even prepare the books for the cooperative as well. So that is one of the advice we'll give, and we'll also encourage that the ministry should consider also setting up an aquaculture development fund to support this kind of initiatives in the long term. Because we don't want to start, then along the way we'll come out and say that we don't have adequate funds to support the initiative anymore. If it happens, it means it may end up becoming waste of resources and time. So once the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development sources for fund from the Ministry of Finance, we will also encourage that they should also keep an eye on setting up or establishing an aquaculture development fund for the sector as well.
Still on agriculture, the Crops Research Institute, CRI, of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research is engaging stakeholders in the pepper value chain to enable it develop varieties that meet local and international demands. Dr. Michael Kwabnose, Senior Research Scientist and Vegetable Breeder at CRI, says the objective is to ensure that players in the sector accept and use varieties that are released by the Institute. Lab FM's Kwesi Deborah has more in this report.
Dr. Michael Kwabnose said the Crops Research Institute is currently doing participatory selection of about 28 different lines of pepper varieties, which were obtained from the World Vegetable Center. The participants of the field trip, made up of market players, farmers, seed companies and research scientists, used the occasion to look at the general appearance of the different lines of pepper, disease, fruit appearance, sizes, shapes, fruit color, pungency and aroma. According to Dr. Osei, the idea is to help make a good selection and make multi-location trial which will take place in different agroecological zones and on farm trials to see how selected lines performed.
Apart from the line we have in Ghana here, we have sourced for extra germplasm from Word Veg. And so now we are characterizing them to see which ones can be evaluated going forward. But unfortunately, we don't have funding for this. And so we are calling on all donors, private practitioners who are interested to give us funding so that we can extend this research from the research station to the different agroecological zones and see how this performs in other parts of the country.
Director of the Crops Research Institute, Professor Moses Branford Muchia, given the background, said the pepper was a leading vegetable export from Ghana with its main market in Europe.
We export pepper to European market, to Germany, to Netherlands, to UK, and then France. If we are able to export, then we stand the chance of getting more foreign exchange to boost our economy. So pepper is very important, and it's also essential nutrient. We get essential nutrient from our dyes, and then if farmers are able to produce this pepper and then sell them outside or export them, they are going to get funds or money to expand their farming activity and also enhance their livelihoods.
A scientist at the World Vegetable Center, Dr. Derek Bachenga, said the organization was prepared to collaborate with stakeholders to support vegetable farmers to produce sustainable, safe and healthy vegetables.
Okay, so the reason we're interested in working in Ghana is because pepper is so important in Ghana. I'm a pepper breeder at the World Vegetable Center, and our goal is to help farmers reduce pesticide applications and produce healthy, safe pepper.
Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
Here's your money tip on Money Lab.
Hi there, and welcome to Money Lab. The name is Yvonne Seshi. Last week, we spoke about payment guarantee and how it can be used to facilitate trade transactions. Today, we'll look at working capital and why it is important for businesses to ensure the right level of working capital. Working capital is the money available to a business to meet its current and short-term obligations. It is important to ensure that a business maintains the right level of working capital as it ensures smooth operations of the business and helps to improve its earnings and profitability. Businesses typically adopt a number of strategies to manage working capital, including working capital support from its bankers. I'm grateful for your time.
On that note, we end Prime Business here on the Joy News channel. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Beverly Broohm, and I leave you with news making headlines on the international front.